Uh, right, so to start the second session on these pictures, I've done a bit more on the waterfalls, and this morning I was trying to find the colour to make the head of the pheasant, because I don't have that colour, and my experiments were pretty disastrous, so we'll leave that for the time being. I'll do that maybe in a little while. I was intending to work on that, but come back. I'm just going to show the people in the class. I've done a bit more on the on the thing. And what I intend to do now is to actually do the water, because I think that's the rest of it is fairly straightforward. One or two explanations. I'll explain with it flat for the purposes of the machine, and then I'll lift it up and explain it again for the purposes of the people who are upright. Okay, so there is a part of the picture here where the blossoms are vaguely pink with the green foliage around them, that part there of this picture here. So what I did was to put down my pink color on the adjacent flowers, which are actually quite pink here. And when I wetted that, I had some spent pink. So I put pink on the whole of this area here. And then when it was dry, it went in with a dark color. If I show you on here, I put this area in pink, this area here in pink, went over it with a wet brush. There was spent wetness slightly colored on my brush. So I covered the whole of this area here in the pink. So the blossoms wouldn't be white. They're nearly white, but not quite white. There's a sort of pinky color about them. Then when it was dry, I went in with scribbly details to suggest the leaves in between. And I think I have a fair resemblance of what it is.
You told us about putting water on the pink bit, but for the remainder of it, it's just pencil so far, is it? Or have you watered?
No, I have put water. Sorry, I have put water on various places. The dark areas on the stones, but not the lighter surfaces. I left the pencil to suggest the texture of the surface where the light is catching it. Where the light isn't catching it, and you can't really see much detail, I've used the wetness to point up the darkness, to make it really dark, so the lighter pieces are really light. The same applies to this area up here. That's really dark. In actual fact, there's a bridge, but I didn't want to put the bridge in. I thought that was a bridge too far. But I did want the darkness because that is throwing the pinks and the other colors forward. So I scrubbed it in furiously with pencil, really dark pencil, using different colors. I have got black, so I did use black. I used Prussian blue, and I used the purple, and I used the green, all muddled up together. And then when I wet it, I got this quite dark area here. There it is. You see, so that area is dark. So here, where the ferns are, I did some work with the pencil, vaguely fern-like. Then I wet it. When it was dry, I went over it again with more pencil-y sort of, ferny sort of shapes, in different colors, in different tones of the same color. And in fact, in some cases, I've actually introduced the Prussian blue near the base to make it really dark. Okay, so now I want to do the water. It would be a good idea if I knew where the water came from. Right, I've already started to some extent. Underneath this last little waterfall, there's an area of sort of vaguely bluey greeny and then a lot of white because it's the foam of the waterfall that stirred up the water. That's as far as I've gone. I'll show you again. This area under here is vaguely bluey, and then it goes white, and then there's all this down here. Okay. Now, if I was doing it in watercolor, this area of water would be a wash. The idea of creating a wash by scrubbing the pencil on another piece of paper and picking it up and putting on the wash is just too complicated. So what I'm going to do is choose the colors that I think will create that area most effectively. And then right at the end, when I've done that, I'll put a wash of water on, bringing the lines down. So I remember from the picture itself, I suppose from this print, that the water was actually a muddy brown sort of color, largely. Why it's gone this weird green, I don't know. It looks like there's a lot of algae there, but there isn't actually. It's a bit unlikely because of the waterfalls, because that stirs them up and you don't get the algae in the same way. Also, I wanted a contrast with everything else in the picture because there's such a lot of green in this picture, both on the rocks and in the greenery on either side. So I have this one, which is called, what's it called? This is called sepia, believe it or not. Sepia? Okay, so sort of brown. What's that one called? This is called French grey. What's that doing? It's a bit dark. Hang on a minute. Excuse me. Right, okay, so the French grey is quite dark. And the other one, sepia to me, as a watercolorist, is a very dark color, but this isn't. So I'm just going to shade it by working downwards with the pencil, quite lightly. Don't know how far down I'm going to go. There. There'll be something sort of vaguely there. I haven't put these other rocks in, however. Just to show you the principle of the thing here. I probably won't do the whole thing anyway, because you don't want me just standing here putting little lines in, you know. You can, you don't have to. It depends if you want the texture or not. No, lines here. It goes there, I think.
Lines of the flow direction.
Well, they could be. In this case, it looks fairly still after the waterfall was tumbled. There are no actual lines showing the water flowing. Why am I doing vertical? Because reflections are vertical. And if you want to suggest still water, you use vertical strokes. Even in watercolor, if you're painting it in watercolor, bring your brush down. If you want to suggest reflections, and you can make your color, in fact, in any medium. What I frequently do in oils is to do a repeat of what's above in oils in exactly the same colors, and I take a palette knife and smudge it downwards, and it gives you that slightly blurred sort of feeling of it. I don't like mirror images in pictures. I think I don't like them in photographs. They just look weird. Right. Yes, I do. Mostly I try not to, because when you're using masking fluid, unless you're as careful with your masking fluid as you are with your paint, you tend to get blobby lines and lumps and bumps and weird things. So I prefer to leave it if I can, but if it's really complicated, manifestly, I'm not going to. Right, so I've gone over it lightly with this, this sepia colour because I don't want it to be too strongly marked to begin with. But there are patches of it where we have, there's more of it down here, but I'm not going to go on there. It goes on forever, doesn't it? Right, there are some greeny patches. Not that green, that green. There are slight reflections of, take that one, slight reflections of the dark part of the rocks. We've got to leave the water showing. So I'm just taking the pencil down to show where those light parts of the rock would be, just to suggest. Again, I'm not doing it heavily. I'm not being too careful about the shape. I just want them in the right place. And I'll use a dark green there. You can play on with the colors yourself. You don't have to do the color that you see. Why do anything quite so boring as the color that you see? Right, and then there's a bit there that looks a bit darkish. That's a little, what's that? That's there. What's that doing? Pardon? Oh, that's all right. You're allowed to sneeze. And there seems to be, for some reason, probably because of the trees, a dark area around here. I have no idea if this is going to work. All right. And I think I'll put it where I don't want it now. Let's try another experiment. I'm a bit too adventurous there. Ah, they do rub out. Nice, isn't it? Whether they'll rub out once you've painted them or not, I don't know. We'll have to see about that. Could probably lift them with water. Right. So I'm going to try now with water. And because I want the lines to disappear, I'm using a big brush that carries quite a bit of water. And we'll just see what happens. Barely showing at all. If you want the lines to disappear, the trick is to wet them and then go back when they're soaked in a bit. That way around. Now, it's not going to be dark enough, but gives you some idea of what you can achieve. Right? And what I will do when it's dried is to repeat the process. So I'll go over it again with the pencils that I was using before and repeat the process till I get it to the shade I want it. If I was aware of how much I need to put down, if I was more practiced with them, I could go in with the right amount first time. So that's the one. There's one mitten. I've lost one. Sorry. Oh, that says it's sepia. Okay. That's better. Now I might need to scrub that hard to get the color I want, right? We'll try it. Where's the wet one? Well, that's given me a better coverage. So I needed to be much stronger in the first place, but I didn't want to overdo it to start with because, well, you don't want to ruin it, do you? And if you start light, you can't go wrong because you can always go heavier. If you put on too much, you can't take it out by wetting it and blotting it. But it looks a bit cob. You might want to do that in various areas. So that's what I would do about doing the water. And obviously you will learn from what I've said and scrub it on much stronger than I have tried. Right, so the other thing I wanted to do was to see what I could do about getting this color on the bird's head. Now I don't have that color. I know I don't have that color. So I've been trying various experiments, as you can see. These are all experiments looking for that particular green, and I'm not getting it. My well, that's green. That's the Prussian blue. Yeah. This says it's Prussian blue, and it's giving me far too dark and not sufficiently vibrant enough. So I thought, right, okay, there's probably, we'll try it with a bit of green in it. So I scrub hard with the Prussian blue. Now, if I scrub with just Prussian blue, I get the same color as I've got there, right? And that's far too dark. And even if I pull it out, it's still not the right color. So then I added a bit of green on top. I don't know. That's for you to find out. Okay, we'll try it the other way around. Why not do the experiment here and now? That's a sort of leaf green. Don't know what it's called, but it's a sort of leaf green. And yes, this is it might matter. It might. So let's see. That's the one with the green afterwards. This is the one with the, oh, yes. Yeah, well, that's because, see, that was the Prussian blue with the green on top, which has gone vaguely greeny. If it was brighter, that would be okay. And that one's far too much green. I haven't put enough blue with it. Again, it's how much, well, yeah, I haven't got a turquoise. So that, I tried this one also. Now this is lemon yellow. Okay, so I scrub with lemon yellow. It gives you that, right? The lemon yellow. And I go in with the Prussian blue on top. The color that you get when you look at it gives you some indication of what you've got. So see, that's more of a leaf green. So that won't do. Okay, so I looked at the other blue. This is a light blue. This one calls itself, cobalt. It's not a cobalt to my eye, but there we are, cobalt. That's cobalt, sort of. It's a bit too red to be cobalt, right? Cobalt comes in different colors. cobalt blue. So I've tried a bit of lemon on it. What was the other color I could try? I could try. Where's the dark green? Is that the dark green? I thought I had the dark green out. I haven't. I've got a Prussian blue. That was Prussian blue. To my mind, that isn't Prussian blue. But there we are. I'm looking for the green. Does anybody see the green? The dark green. Yeah, is that it? Forest green. Tallow green, it's called. Yes, that's fairly dark. Where am I scrubbing? Over here. Right. Now let's see how we get on with those two. So I had their idea of cobalt and lemon, which gives me more leaf green, but it's a bit colder, it's a bit kinder, it's a bit, and the other one, you could spend hours doing this, couldn't you? And that is just dull. So, okay, suppose we try all three. That one, and that one. So I'm going to endlessly try. I think I'll end up buying the right colored pencil. So I start with the blue. Finding a space to do it is interesting. Start with the blue. And then I scrub some yellow on it. And then I scrub some green on it. That's going to come out very green, so I'll put some more blue on top. Let's see what that does. Any guesses? No, it's just too green. Just too green, isn't it? I think the answer to that is buy the right pencil. I don't know I don't know which of these actually was the most. Which one? That one? That one.
That one there.
Yeah.
With the
brighter blue. Right. Okay. Let's turn it on. Try a new life. Right. Well, you've got them. You see, she's got the right colours. What are they called, sweetheart? Turquoise blue. Believe it or not. Oh, nice. No, I can't see what they're called. Yes, but they are the right colours, I think. No, that's a cobalt, and that's it. Well, we'll see. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, that's pretty good. It's, yes, yeah. A bit more for that bit.
Yeah.
Yes, you can. Yes. Yes, if you colour it all that, and then you put your darker blue on top. So don't let me get confused with your pencils and mine. Just give me the name of those two. Right, so we have that answer, but supposing I haven't got them, which I haven't. So we were going to try that blue with this green. That's not bad. No, it's a bit pasty. It's a bit pasty. It hasn't the vibrancy of that one, so it's closer. Apart from anything else, that's not a mix. That's a straight colour, and they do dull each other. So that was that exercise. So obviously, what I need to do is possess myself with patience and buy 2 new pencils. So while we're on the subject, then I will work a little bit more on the body, so that you have some idea. How much time we've got, Rachel? Right. Okay. So we have. Can you see that? Right, now, I did, in fact, do a little bit of work on the, providing you with washes by scrubbing on a piece of paper and lifting it and putting the washes on. I'm still not happy with the shape of this. And it's pointless to put the decorations on until I get the other effects first. Hazel Soane. You've all heard of Hazel Soane, I'm pretty sure of that. If you haven't, you've been deaf. She says form before pattern. Always form before pattern. So even if she's doing a zebra, she'll do a sort of horse with purpley shadows and purpley pinky shadows to create the white horse as a shape, as an entity. And then she will use the pattern to accentuate the shape so that the stripes go round the body. And you can take your time to do it, obviously. So this was okay, but it was really not good enough. So I want to increase the coloring here. This is quite dark. So I'm going to use the pencil directly this time on here to get it as dark as I want it to be. And I'm pushing real hard. This is a textured paper, so that it's giving me a not very pleasing texture, but it'll do. You know, I'm not going to get excited about it. So I'm still trying to create the form. This is quite dark under here. And I can make it as dark as I possibly can by scrubbing as hard as I possibly can. Perhaps if I used a bit of purple in that, just to add to the fun, you know. Why do it black when you can do it 3 other colors? I'm using the strokes a bit directionally at the edges here. Here we've got quite a strong shape here, which goes down into the tail. I'm looking at the shapes of the darks, not the pattern, but the shapes of the body darks, if you like, here. And there's definite purple. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, definite purples here. These are put them the wrong way around. Definite purples here. Right, so. And then there's this line down here, which black somewhere. I really want this really dark, so throwing everything at it to get it as dark as I can. It seems to make a difference to the shape. I'm not putting it all over everywhere. I'm just keeping it on the underside of the beast, if you like. Right, that's a bit more like, and it comes down the back of his leg there. Right. While that is, I would normally continue over the, well, I can still continue, can I? I could come over here now. What the colouring has done is to give me the shape of the body, so that I've got a better chance of working in the various colours. This is in fact part of the wing. From here. Whoop. Oh, yeah. It slid away. Right. And of course, it continues up here. But there's a bit of yellow, isn't there? Oh, nice. Well, okay. Not really. We haven't really got a proper yellow, have we? A miserable set of colours. I have to get some more. Yes, they are. They're not meant for ducks. I'm not putting in the decoration. Okay, so let's just see what's happened, shall we? Okay, so clean water. And if you're going over a change of color and you don't want the blend, then you clean your brush. You want it to go in a bit, then obviously you can. Purple here. You can go from a lighter color over a darker color, but if I took that dark color up, it would cover the other color that I've got there. So I think that's done fairly well, actually. Yeah, sure. Shoot. Well, there is color up there.
There's a bit of dark.
Yeah,
There is.
yeah, yeah. So if I show you, see how much darker you can get?
Yeah.
But because I've got the shape of the bird, with the initial wash, I can be a bit more free about how I put the extra color on. And then right at the bitter end, when I'm satisfied with the underlying color, I can start to put on all these little marks here, which are very much present, aren't they? Very much present. So the thing about the pencils is that you can play on much more than if you're actually doing straight watercolor. Very often you seem to, well, I don't know, I feel that I need to work a bit more quickly when I'm working with watercolor. With this, I can sort of amble around the picture and do a little bit here. It's not my normal way of painting, so it's quite cathartic sometimes just to have a little go. That, I think, is how we're doing, Rach. Right, let's see if I can find that sepia. The sepia? No, that's black. That was sepia, I think. No, that's phthalo green.
First one, yeah.
This, I think, is French. Yes, this is sepia. Right. Let's scrub a bit. No, no, sepia is a very dark.
Like
Yes.
a taupe colour, yeah.
Yes. But they've got their own ideas of what colours are. I'll just wet that little bit. Oh. That gives you a better idea. It's still not dark enough, but it's. Yes, well, I might run out of patience.
With the green you did last week,
Yeah.
have you gone over that with water or just left?
Some of it I've gone over with water and some of it I haven't. The fern-like area I went over that with the green because you really need the background green. It's pretty solid green. And then you can put textures on top of it. And you don't have to use greens to create the textures, although I did mostly do it with varying shades of green. But that's better, isn't it? Right.
Yes.
Right. So that's what I would do. But in effect, if I was doing it myself, I would have finished this before I went on to that. But some people are up to this thing now, so I thought I'd better show you what I would do. And I think I've finished actually, Rachel, as of now.